Hello, it's lovely to see you all, and welcome to Peter in the studio back in Heidelberg.
Hello, Valentin. Welcome, everybody.
Yes, it's lovely to be together here with a bit of music, and this is of course our last summer concert in the Sunday Piano Classics series, as we all need a bit of a holiday every now and then. I'm also playing a live concert next Saturday with a different program. It's here in England, in Fotheringhay, where Mary Stuart was famously executed. If you do fancy coming along for that, you can find all the details on my website. First up today is a lovely piece by Haydn, the first movement from his Sonata in C, which he wrote here in London actually. This was during his second visit in 1794, and these two trips to London did change his life. Even his arrival here was already eagerly anticipated, because Haydn was the most often performed composer in the London concerts, even before he came here. And when he was here, he was really given the full superstar treatment. He also became a man of means and could now live the life of an independent artist. You can see him there in a portrait painted in London during his stay here. He's still hiding under that slightly strange, rather curious wig, which all men wore in the 18th century. Haydn's pupil Beethoven, on the other hand, would do away with the wig and live all his life as an independent artist. But for Haydn, this was a new beginning here in London. The success did not spoil him, rather it spurred him on to write music which was more true to himself than ever before. What I like about his music is it's never bombastic, often quite funny, it's full of surprises, always inventive, and of course he did invent the symphony, the string quartet, the piano trio, and of course the piano sonata as we know it. In the piece you're hearing now, he starts with just a few almost random notes. They turn out to be not so random after all, as he builds the whole movement around these notes. This sonata was written for an English piano, which had a bigger range than the instruments in Vienna, with more high notes than you would find on Mozart's piano. Also, for the first time, the pedal is being indicated in any piano composition, and there are markings in two places, in English actually, saying open pedal. Haydn was looking for a bit of a blurry effect that we normally find more in romantic piano music. Again, Haydn was a pioneer here as well. Oh, thank you, Connie. It's nice to welcome you all to the concert and to see your comment. Oh, thank you. Yes, it's a beautiful piece. Yes, it's Beethoven was already writing 3 piano sonatas which he was dedicating to Haydn at the time and published them the next year. So these are the last 3 of Haydn's sonatas that he's written here. And I think it's a really inventive and interesting composition. Lovely. Hello, Paul. Nice to see you. It's nice to have a moment so I can take my wig off and move from Haydn to Schubert, which is of course a very, very different sound world. It's interesting that Haydn and Mozart and Beethoven and Schubert are sort of contemporaries and have this interesting relationship. Mozart is always considered the greater composer than Haydn, and Beethoven the greater composer than Schubert. But it rather ignores that their music is so different. Of course, here we come to Schubert's longest, greatest piano sonata, the sonata in B flat major, which he wrote, you know, literally 2 months before he died. He finished it. It's really sad that he died then, because that year he had actually become much more successful. Schubert, and he had a concert with his own compositions from which he made quite a bit of money, but by the summer he had again run out of money and had to cancel his holiday plans. His health was already quite poor, and in the autumn he made the fateful decision to go walking for a few days with his friends. He had missed out on his summer holiday and was probably desperate to see at least some of his beloved Austrian countryside. I love the Austrian countryside as well. I'm half Austrian myself. I know exactly how you must have felt. But it turned out to be a very bad decision because it was already October and it started to rain heavily. They all got completely drenched, and when Schubert finally reached his home in Vienna, he went to bed, never to get up again. It was a really tragic end to the most creative life imaginable. At least he had still managed to perform this sonata a few times. I will just be playing the first movement because the entire sonata takes nearly an hour. It is the longest piano sonata ever written, and curiously it is in the same key as Beethoven's longest sonata, the Hammerklavier Sonata, which had been published 10 years earlier. They're very, very different pieces, but they both use trills quite a lot. In this piece, you can hear a very eerie trill low down in the bass, just here. Just after I've played the opening bars, you will be hearing this trill. It makes you feel that things are not quite how they seem after that gentle opening melody. To me, this opening is a siren song leading on a never-ending search for adventure and happiness also in this piece. The landscape is constantly changing, and I love the way he creates great poetry by the most simple means. There's a lot of pianissimo in this sonata, very quiet music, but under the surface it is very dramatic as well. Whereas Beethoven had made his music more dramatic than anything before him by building up great climaxes, Schubert does that as well sometimes, but more often he goes in the opposite direction. His drama happens deep inside of him, but I feel it is just as powerful and moving. thank you, Molto. Ah, yes. It's such an incredible journey, this piece. Oh, thank you, Rachel. Yes. He did write a song cycle called The Winter Journey, and I've been actually singing it myself, of course, only playing the piano to it as a kind of yeah, getting me into the spirit of this. Oh, thank you, Nina. That's really nice. Yes, it's been a great journey with you in now until the summer since we started this year, and I feel very privileged to be able to play for you and share this wonderful music with all of you. And it's lovely to see your comments. Canny, thank you very much, and earlier Stefan as well. It's so nice that you're joining me here. Thank you, Paul. Oh, that's lovely. Yes, it is an extraordinary piece. I wish we had time to play the whole sonata. Oh, thank you, Rochelle. Lovely. Now the Schubert Sonata actually now carries on with a slow movement in C-sharp minor. And while there isn't time to play the whole sonata, at least we're carrying on in the right key now. If you're expecting great pianistic fireworks in this etude, you will be disappointed, because this is actually a slow piece, which is quite similar to a nocturne. It is actually a study only insofar as it is making the left hand sing. But it is really so much more than that. When Chopin settled in Paris, he left all his friends and family behind in Warsaw. While he didn't yet know that he would never return to Poland, he must have been very lonely despite of all the success he was having. And I think that loneliness is beautifully expressed and captured in this very moving piece. I don't think Chopin had written anything more heartfelt and personal than this up to this point. It finishes with a tribute to Beethoven. The last two chords are actually the same as in the first movement of the Moonlight Sonata. Yes, it is actually a very challenging piece on so many levels. This study, it's just incredible what he's put in there in terms of emotional variety. Oh, thank you, Stefan. That's lovely. Yes, it's extraordinary because the shape of it is really unusual for Chopin. It's as well, and you can tell that he was trying to break new ground here with this piece. And yes, well, of course we're carrying on in the same key now in C sharp minor, and this scherzo is of course a wild and wonderful beast. He wrote it soon. Chopin wrote this soon after he had spent a winter in an abandoned monastery in Mallorca. And this sort of slightly haunted atmosphere of the monastery, I think, and the ghosts rising is wonderfully captured here. At the center of the piece is actually a chorale that appears several times, I think it sort of evokes this atmosphere of the monks of the abandoned monastery and so on. Although it's a very romantic type of chorale with beautiful figuration accompanying it. Eventually, though, even this chorale tune turns a bit morbid and eerie, and at the end, the very furies of hell are unleashed in a really terrifically exciting ending. I hope you enjoy this piece. And that was the Scherzo. It's an incredible piece, really, and I've played this quite a bit, and it is always an incredible challenge. Thank you, Stefan. Yes, I did play this for the Chopin Society in one of my concerts, and it just is an incredible piece. Thank you, Rachel, for your lovely comment, and Paul. That's wonderful. I hope you all have a wonderful summer, and yes, we all need a holiday, and yes, something to cheer us up. Peter, you're going to come in for a moment.
Yes, Valentin, I just take the opportunity also to thank from my side, first place, of course, to you for all these wonderful hours. I mean, 9 concerts. I think it was probably between 7 and 8 hours piano playing, and then for me, and I understand also for most of the audience, very important, all your explanations, introductions to the pieces, which are a special ingredient of these concerts. It helps a lot to understand the music and enjoy it in another way. And of course, today I already wrote in my Facebook side, especially thanks for taking the Schubert, one of my absolute favorite pieces, into today's program. So I guess we can hope for an encore. And I'm going out here again, just saying goodbye to everybody. and of course wishing you a nice summer and promising that we will think about um, the format and the continuation of the series. Of course, also hoping that the other dimensions, a live play, which Valentin already commented, for him it starts in a week, that this is coming back and staying as an opportunity with all of us. Um, and with regard to all the challenges we face with COVID. Thank you again to everybody, and bye bye from my side.
Oh, thanks so much, Peter. Thank you for your lovely comments. It's really nice to see them. Yes, to send you off for that summer holiday, since Schubert missed out on his summer holiday, we'll return to him for a moment. I'll play you a little piece by him. It's a minuet from a different sonata. It's from the one in G major, his G major sonata. But this piece is actually in B minor, and it's got a bit of storminess to it as well. And in the middle section turns to major. I think it's a lovely little piece, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you, Carsten. And Torst, I saw your comment earlier. That's really nice. It's lovely to send you off into hopefully a beautiful summer like this, and with a bit of Schubert. And thank you so much for listening. It's been great fun and a wonderful journey with the Sunday Piano Classics. And we'll carry on after the summer, and we'll be back with hopefully some new and exciting programs. And thank you so much for listening. And this is it for me. I'm off on my holidays. Goodbye.